protest at a local gun show gets heated. Well, maybe the new Fire Station 39 can put out the flames. And Andre Coleman from Pasadena Weekly is here live to give us his take on the elections. All that plus CCN weather with Curtis Peek next on CCN Crown City News. Your news, your neighborhood seconds away.
Do you have a great business idea? The Pasadena Enterprise Zone can help. The Pasadena Enterprise Zone, open for business.
Hi, I'm Jesse Avila at the Convalescent Aid Society, a nonprofit organization established in 1923. We provide the free loan of durable medical equipment, of hospital beds, wheelchairs, walkers, canes, and many other items. Your donations and contributions are welcome and greatly appreciated. We are located at 3255 East Foothill Boulevard in Pasadena.
We're here to help you!
Please give us a call and check for availability at 626-793-1696.
Hi everyone, thanks for watching CCN Crown City News. Your news, your neighborhood. I'm Sunita Joshua Madison. In the past few years, a number of high-profile mass shootings have hit us in what seem to be back-to-back blows. As we move forward in our grief over a shooting in one community, another community is hit. We grieve as a nation for these vicious attacks on unsuspecting, innocent victims. Yet we're continually assaulted from the ongoing violence we see in our own communities every day. As a nation, there's a great divide in our visceral reaction of what needs to be done to make a change. Just this past weekend, emotions ran high as members of Occupy Democracy Pasadena picketed a popular gun show in Glendale. But as CCN's Paulo Alejandria found out for part 2 of his special series on violence in our communities, not everyone agrees on the place of guns in our society.
I don't need to live next to someone like you who needs one. Do you get that?
Ma'am, this isn't about needs. This is about the Second Amendment, which says I have a right to a weapon.
You have a right to own a musket, according to the Second Amendment.
What the is a musket gonna do today for protection? Are you serious?
You need to read the Second Amendment, understand what it means.
The national gun control debate hit a little closer to home during Glendale's annual gun show this past Saturday. Recently, the heated debate has caught fire in the wake of a number of highly publicized shootings, like the Sandy Hook Elementary School massacre in Newtown, Connecticut, just days before this past Christmas. Members of the liberal Occupy Democracy Pasadena organization picketed the gun show to speak out for increased gun control measures. Measures they see as necessary in a country they feel has grown increasingly violent because of gun culture. This past Thursday night here in Pasadena, police responded to a call of shots fired in the 600 block of Mar Vista Boulevard, resulting in at least one confirmed homicide at last report. Incidents involving shooting deaths, both national and local, have caused plenty of discussions regarding increased gun control measures and their validity as an effective way to minimize violent crime.
It's important to take a step in the right direction of a sane community that is more representative of loving other people and looking after the other person than it is to go into this hyper-individuated culture where everybody has a gun and nobody has a friend and nobody has someone to look after them.
An armed society is a polite society.
Mike Alexander, president of Pasadena's chapter of the conservative Tea Party movement TPAC, says proposals of increased gun control measures are ways this country's liberals are trying to exert power over the state by taking away the people's right to defend themselves. Alexander says gun control measures have nothing to do with regulating violent crime.
Chanting the liberal line for me, so here's what, if you had the liberal that you're quoting, if I had that liberal here with a room temperature IQ and no devotion to the truth, I'd ask him, say, hey, you guys run Chicago, you guys run Detroit, you guys run the city of Los Angeles, you run the county of Los Angeles, where you can't even hardly get a concealed weapons permit in this county. How's that murder rate working out? It's not. There is no connection between restricting the supply of handguns or whatever it is that they're talking about and the elimination of crime.
In fact, many gun proponents argue that increasing gun ownership prevents crime. Gun owner John Randall said he was able to protect his family, including his elderly father, because of his gun.
Gentleman broke into the house. He's downstairs. He's rifling through stuff. I came down with my rifle, my pistol actually, and he took off. He's trying to rob the house. God knows what he's going to do. My father was 102 at the time. So what would you have me do? You know, when seconds count, the cops are minutes away. It takes them minutes to get there. So yes, the gun did protect my family and protect my civil liberties, if you will.
We asked Patrick and Maddie Gavel-Briggs, spokesman for Occupy Democracy Pasadena, about how effective gun control measures would be with respect to criminals and their means of obtaining firearms.
Let me ask you this. If by gun control you want to regulate crime, and the people who are committing crimes are criminals who didn't even get guns by what you would call the most legitimate of channels, I mean, is that really going to stop guns from getting in the wrong hands? And isn't the real people who are suffering are, in all fairness, law-abiding citizens? I mean, what do you guys think?
I think that there's always going to be the possibility that of guns getting into the wrong hands. But when you put sensible gun regulation in place, you reduce the odds of a massacre happening from an unstable person.
It's also about just the sheer number of guns that are being put into society. And I think when you start having these laws and legislation and limits, it limits the number of guns that are out there that can be free-floating, that criminals can get their hands on.
In Glendale, Paulo Alejandria, CCN.
Thanks for that powerful report, Paulo. Part of the protest also included if these gun shows should be held on city property. The Glendale Civic Center has hosted gun shows since 1992 with 3 to 4 shows annually. In the last 3 years, the gun shows have generated almost $158,000. However, in January, the Glendale City Council voted to ban the sale of guns on city property to reduce the presence of guns in the city in order to promote public health, though they allowed this scheduled show. As Paulo continues his series on violence in our communities, you can reach him with information or stories you'd like to share at paulo@crowncitynews.com, and his name is spelled Paulo. Now here's a snapshot of stories you may have missed this past week right here in the San Gabriel Valley. As we mentioned earlier in Paulo's report, last Thursday a man was shot execution style on the 600 block of North Mar Vista Avenue. A witness saw a woman mourning over the man as he died on her lawn. The shooting happened at about 8:45 p.m. on Thursday. Police say a lone gunman walked up to the victim and shot him several times. The victim tried to flee but collapsed a few steps away. A witness told police that the woman was heard sobbing and pleading with the victim, saying, "Stay, baby, and don't go," repeatedly. The shooter is described as a tall black man with a light complexion. Officials at the Pasadena Police Department say no arrests have been made on this investigation, and the investigation is ongoing. On Saturday, a Pasadena man shot at a moving vehicle and a vacant home. Police responded to the shots fired call at about 2:30 a.m. Officers initially did not see anything, but soon saw a man emerge from a garage and shoot at a car driving on Tremont Avenue towards Marengo. The suspect has been identified as 27-year-old Anthony Alexander from Pasadena. Anyone with information on either of these shootings should call LA Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS or 8477 or go to lacrimestoppers.org. Well, after months of community protests, the Walmart neighborhood market opened in Altadena this past weekend with a grand opening on Friday attended by community leaders and members of the Altadena Town Council. It's a smaller market than what the big box store is known for, offering just groceries and health and beauty items. Walmart opened a temporary hiring station for 3 months that received over 1,200 applications. Of those applications, the store employs 65 people, with approximately half from the local community. Walmart presented a $6,500 check in grants to local organizations such as John Muir High School and NATHA, Neighborhoods Acting Together Helping All. Protesters bemoan that Walmart pushes out small business owners, forces higher unemployment, and offers low-wage jobs that keep quality of life low for the community. Now that the store is open, we'll see what effects it has on the local area. Well, after igniting a fury from its closure, Fire Station 39 finally breaks ground on a seismic rehabilitation. And will all these beautiful winter temps stay? Meteorologist Curtis Peek has a look at the week ahead when we return on CCN Crown City News. Your news, your neighborhood. Stay tuned.
This CCN Green Minute is brought to you by Southern California Edison.
Hi, I'm Luna with CCN, and I'm here with Janetta Harris to give us some tips on how customers can save energy and money.
Great. Thank you, Luna. First, I'd like to offer to our customers, if you're in the market for purchasing new appliances, please take a look at the Energy Star emblem that may be on them. You'll see two numbers on them. One number obviously is the purchase price of the appliance. The other number reflects how much energy they will actually save in a year. So make sure we look for those. We not only have them on appliances, but also electronic devices.
And what kind of electronic devices, besides the refrigerators and the kitchen appliances, can customers look for?
We all like computers, right? We all want those laptops. We need printers to get information out. So again, the Energy Star logo will be on those appliances or those electronic devices as well. We have a host of information, a lot of electronic and energy efficiency tips on sce.com/tips, or they can call into our call center at 800-736-4777.
Thanks so much. I'm sure everyone appreciates those ways that they can save money and energy. This has been your Southern California Edison Green Minute.
This CCN Green Minute is brought to you by Southern California Edison.
Welcome back. Fire Station 39, serving the upscale San Rafael community, ignited a firestorm of controversy when the city closed it in 2011 after assessing it would collapse in the event of a major earthquake. 2 years later, the city finally held a groundbreaking ceremony this past weekend to rehabilitate the station. CCN's TK Trinidad was there and has this report.
I'm here at the groundbreaking ceremony of the rehabilitation of Pasadena Fire Station 39, where the community has come out to celebrate. After an abrupt closure and difficulties finding an interim facility, firefighters, city leaders, and the community came out for the groundbreaking ceremony of Fire Station 39. Pasadena residents, such as Scott Finkelstein, can breathe a little easier to finally see the light of the station's eventual reopening.
It's just good to have a fire station closer to the house now. Not really sure where they were before, but it's just nice to know that they're right here.
With local firefighters dishing up hot dogs and drinks, the community had a chance to hear public officials such as Mayor Bill Bogard and Fire Chief Calvin Wells speak about the importance of getting the station up and running in the neighborhood.
It's imperative that we get an engine company back in service in this area of Pasadena as soon as possible to supplement the fire force.
Well, in this neighborhood, this station has a long history of providing not only traditional fire protection, but medical support and all other kinds of assistance to the neighbors of the area.
The station was originally closed down in 2011 after a comprehensive 2010 report assessing all Pasadena fire stations revealed that in the event of a major earthquake, Station 39 ran the risk of collapse. The closure set off a firestorm with residents accusing the city manager of sitting on the report for months. This past December, over a year after the closure, the City Council approved a $2.6 million plan, which included additional administrative and permit costs to renovate the building.
Based on that information, the decision was made to evacuate the station immediately and make other accommodations.
Along with seismic and engineering improvements for the building, the remodel also highlights increased energy efficiency. However, the exterior of the historic 4,400 square foot two-story building built in 1952 will remain unchanged. People young and old came out to enjoy the event and look forward to having the station up and running again.
But it's just good to have them reopen.
Pasadena's oldest fire station will receive a $1.78 million facelift and scheduled to be completed later this year. At Pasadena Fire Station 39, I'm TK Trinidad, CCN.
Well, thanks for that report, TK. Along with the seismic improvements, the building will also now meet American Disabilities Act standards, and firefighters will enjoy newly remodeled interior living, kitchen, and office spaces. The station will also get new fire sprinklers and alarms. Definitely important for a fire station to have good sprinklers. And the city worked with Pasadena Heritage and followed preservation guidelines to save the building's historic exterior. Well, after perfect summer temps all last week, is there a winter storm in store for our weekend? CCN meteorologist Curtis Peek has a look at what we can expect this week. Please, Curtis, don't tell us we have to break out that umbrella.
Well, I'm afraid to tell you that we are going to have to break out that umbrella. There's an echo in the room. I hope you can hear me well at home. Good evening, everybody. In Arcadia, San Gabriel Valley, we are going to see some cooler temperatures, and we are going to see some rain that's going to come in probably late Tuesday night. That's going to last until Friday. But right now outside, we do have 62 degrees. Our winds out of the south-southwest at 7 miles per hour. Our humidity is 56%, so it is a little muggy out there. Tomorrow morning, our sunrise will be at 6:16, and our sunset will be at 5:53. As we take a look at our almanac right now, as I said today, we are going to see cooler temperatures. The rain does arrive late Tuesday night, but we are going to see it definitely come down by Wednesday morning. But look what's going to happen. By the weekend, we are going to see the sun. The sun will return by Sunday. Our high today was 65 degrees. Normally, we are about 70 degrees. We are 5 degrees below normal. Our low tonight is going to be 50 degrees, normally 51 degrees, but we are where we should be during the night. As we take a look at our overnight lows right now, Glendale's going to come in at 50 degrees. Pasadena, we are coming in at 52 degrees, and we are going to have our coldest temp in Arcadia at 48 degrees. Alhambra, you are coming in at 49 degrees, 1 degree below Arcadia. Our highs for tomorrow here in the San Gabriel Valley, Glendale, you are coming in at 66 degrees. Arcadia, 65 degrees. Monrovia, 64. And El Monte and West Covina, respectively, are coming in at 65 degrees. And here's our 7-day forecast right now. As I said, we are going to see those clouds begin to come in on Tuesday. Tomorrow, we are going to have that onshore flow, what we are seeing right now. Late Tuesday night into Wednesday, we're going to see rain, little showers, but Thursday, rain and showers. Friday is going to be mostly our rainmaker. We have a 40% chance of rain, so if we do see this rain will definitely be here by Friday. But as we look by Saturday, things begin to dry out. Clouds do stick around, but Sunday, things begin to clear out, 70 degrees. And look where we are by next Monday, 76 degrees. We are going to be above normal by that time on Monday. And our lows are going to be in the 50s for the next 2 days. Then we are going to dip down in the 40s, and Saturday night is going to be a chilly one, 41 degrees. Sunita, back to you.
All right, time to cozy up by the fire. Thanks for that, Curtis. Well, his reports turned the District 3 City Council election on its head, and now Andre Coleman is joining us live in studio to give us his thoughts about the all-important school board and city council races tomorrow. That's next on Crown City News, your neighborhood.
My name's Reggie. Just recently, my wife and I took in her sister's children. And we already had 4, so I went from becoming a family man to a man with a bigger family. Now, you can't eat love, so I don't know how I'm gonna feed them tonight. How was that, Rich?
I think I look more like Denzel.
That's cold, man.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
But it would be safe to keep your distance until there's no secret that laughter makes you smile. Reliable sources say that chicken soup has found their way out of this dangerous, but they are returned.
Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. Go to discovertheforest.org.
2 outs with a runner on first base. Now the big guy comes off the bat, hitting .342 with 92 RBIs and 36 homers.
Chill raw and prepared foods promptly. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back. Andre Coleman is the deputy editor for the Pasadena Weekly and has written extensively about the twists and turns of tomorrow's election. When a story breaks, Andre's on it, and we have him here live in studio to tell us everything we need to know before we head to the polls. Thanks for being here, Mr. Coleman.
I should come here more often and get my ego stroked like that.
We should have you back more often. You know, in fact, you know, I think the city has been turning out and reading the columns that you've been writing on these races. Let's just start with the city council races, because there's been a lot going on there. You know, we have District 5 with Victor Gordo, basically unopposed since Israel Estrada dropped out, and Terry Turnick, you know, unopposed. But District 3 is a whole different story.
The one everybody's talking about.
Absolutely, and you know, you made quite a difference there. Let's just see, have you seen anything as this race with, you know, each candidate having a different background story?
This is the worst election, or the ugliest election I've seen since I came on board the Weekly in 1999. I think maybe it's because the seat hasn't been in play since Holden dominated it for decades, but it's just ugly. The back and forth, the mudslinging. I don't know how anybody knows anything about the issues from these two candidates.
Well, we'll start with Reverend Benson, or supposed Reverend Benson,
Mr. Benson.
or Dr. Benson, supposed. He bowed out last week, and a lot of that was due to an article that you had written about him and your reporting. But his name does remain on the ballot. How do you think he's going to influence this race, even not being on the ballot?
I don't think Reverend Benson will be an influence at all. I don't think we're going to have a runoff. I think. And I'm not making predictions, it's just thought. I think that we will have a winner tomorrow night of this race. I don't think he really brings much to the table.
Now, why do you think someone, you know, with a past, as you wrote about, decides to take on a role like this? But do they think that a reporter like you isn't going to uncover things?
I don't know. I mean, who knows why anybody does anything? I can tell you this. It seems like in a lot of communities, reporters no longer dig into the backgrounds of local politicians. We don't take that attitude at the Weekly. If you look at what happened in Bell, California, that happened because they did not have a newspaper in their community keeping the people in charge of the money honest. The Weekly's attitude is, if you are going to have a vote on millions of dollars, then before you can be transparent with the money, your background needs to be transparent to the people who will vote for you. Some people will say, oh, it's a city council race, it doesn't matter. Not the attitude we take at all. It matters just as much as a presidential election, because everybody who lives in District 3, everybody who lives in Pasadena, these people are voting where millions of dollars, how it's going to be spent, left and right, up and down. We need to know who they are.
Well, now, you know, let's take into Mr. Kennedy and Mr. Trone both. And full disclosure, Mr. Trone's daughter does work for our station, or for our newscast. But, you know, with both of the pasts that they had, Mr. Kennedy had a history where he had
he shot somebody.
Yeah. But do you think that something like that should preclude him from running for an office?
No, he wasn't convicted. I mean, he shot somebody. He was acquitted by a jury of his peers, and then two additional charges were dropped. But at the same time, if it doesn't preclude him from running, why not talk about it?
And what about Mr. Trone? There was, you know, craziness about a private investigator from Long Beach getting involved, posting basically junk mail on his site saying that he didn't live in the address that he listed on his applications. He was actually living in Altadena. Is there any truth to any of that?
That was about the most ridiculous part of all this, because you know what? I still get mail that goes to Altadena, where I lived for years and years and years, and I haven't lived there in a decade. So mail still goes to my mom's house for me, and I'm 48. And if you look at the mail, it's flyers and it's junk mail, and a lot of times people don't update their mailing list. That doesn't mean anything, you know.
Is it just a distraction?
It's a distraction. It once again, it stops people from talking about the issues. I think it's an ugly distraction because, again, you have on a website an address posted where his wife and his children lived. I don't see how that's cool any way you break it down or look at it at all. I mean, mail theft, mail tampering, I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but if that's what went on, that's a serious offense. It's a federal offense. So.
Well, some people are, the Weekly did go ahead and endorse Mr. Trone,
Mm-hmm.
and, we're waiting for the DA to clear his name in that mail fraud investigation.
I hope he doesn't get arrested before he can take office,
Well,
like we wrote.
But, you did still endorse him.
Right.
And some people are saying that, that you're friendly with Mr. Trone, and that's where the endorsement comes from. Is there any truth to that?
I'm as friendly with Mr. Trone as I am with Mr. Kennedy. I don't know Mr. Benson well at all. If you mean friendly with him by some means that my friendship got the endorsement, it was the Weekly that wrote he was being investigated. It was the Weekly that wrote that he took a gun into an airport. I don't know if I'd say that those are great friends to somebody. If that's what friendship is and bias, then a lot of politicians probably don't want that. Look, we endorsed him because I can look back over the past 4 years and I can point to issues he talked about. I can point to times when he was at City Hall. I can point to times when the Star News called him, when the Weekly called him, when Pasadena Now called him. I don't know if he was on your show. And we asked him about several different issues. He may not have always come down right politically in some people's opinions on those issues, but he was there. John Kennedy has a record of service. Nobody doubts that. But in the past 4 years, where has he been in the community on those issues? Now, I've been told, hey, he was raising money for nonprofits, which is admirable and that's great as well. But when I look at what I can see, I can put my hands on, this is where Mr. Trone was in the community. So we can get rid of all the gun stuff and all the past stuff. We didn't even go by that as far as an endorsement. We just went by, okay, where was this guy? Where was this guy? Ishmael Trone, taking kids to the LA Sparks games, job program in the summer. I don't have any record of John Kennedy doing any of that over the past summers. Now, I'm not saying that he didn't do it, or I'm not saying that he's not fit for office. I'm just saying we don't see a record of that.
Okay. Well, let's move on to the school board
Sure.
races. There's a lot more candidates there who are running. Can you give us an overview of some of the candidates running and what led to your endorsements or the Weekly's endorsements?
Well, the Kim Kinney situation is unique in that she was elected 2 years ago to a 4-year term. But at that time, the district representatives were selected in at-large elections. Now they are selected by districts, which means she has to run 2 years early. So she was sent to the school board for 4 years. We think she deserves that. So based on that alone, I would say it's fair to endorse her. But also at the same time, the district is looking to cut $8 million. We have the cuts now, which could take effect from the automatic budget cuts because of the sequester. Now may not be the best time to do a lot of changing of leadership with incumbents. So she deserves it there. When you move on to District 3, which is unique because it's new and you have no incumbent, Tyrone Hampton, in my opinion and in the Weekly's opinion, who went to the local schools, should have a shot now with the school board. To me, and it's the Weekly's opinion, if you attend the local schools and you grow up here, you deserve a look. Ruben Huesel's raised a lot of money. We know that. Deirdre Duncan hasn't really campaigned at all, a foster mom. Guillermo Arce didn't raise any money.
Well, we are running out of time here.
Wow.
Unfortunately, it went
It's
way
okay.
too quickly. But it looks like there might not be necessarily a lot of change on the school board since a number of the incumbents look to be leaders and have gotten a lot of the endorsements. And it's mostly District 3 that we might get someone new.
That's the one.
All right. Well, we will be looking at this election tomorrow. And thank
Okay.
you so much for your reporting and really getting to the truth.
Thank you for having me.
Well, that's it for this newscast. Please reach out to us with news tips and community news at crowncitynews.com. You can also join us on Facebook and Twitter to keep updated on the latest. Thanks to Andre Coleman for joining us in studio. Thanks also to all our sponsors, including Southern California Edison, Wink Marketing, the Pasadena Enterprise Center office building with available space, and Dr. Fareed Zarif. Thanks also to the CCN crew. They make this show possible. And finally, we thank you for watching CCN Crown City News. Join us each week as we cover the news in Pasadena and the San Gabriel Valley. For all of us here at CCN, I'm Sunita Joshua Madison. Have a great week and get out and vote.